Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. I'm really excited to be making this video because it's the first time I'm using C in such a long time, and we're also going to be looking at raylib, which is something I've never used before other than when we played around with Odin. So for those of you who didn't watch that video or who don't know what Odin is a programming language which comes, it's like a C-like language which comes pre-packaged with all these wonderful libraries. Like OpenGL, and another one being raylib, and I thought, okay, it'd be interesting to learn how to use a little bit of raylib, so I just simply opened a window and I shut it down, and that was it. Today I want to do a little bit more with that and in C, and I'm going to show you how to get it running smoothly with C on Mac. It might be different on anything else, so I'm going to trust you guys. If you're a Windows user, it might be similar on Linux, to kind of do this in your own way. Okay, but for those of you who are Mac users, you might want to stick around because I'm going to show you, it'll be very short, but I'll show you how to effectively create an alias which allows you to compile your file very smoothly and very quickly. Before I do that though, okay, so I talked a little bit about Odin. The last video we looked at Zig and it was very well received, so I've got the video here, so thank you to everyone who watched that video. People seem to be on the fence about Zig. I really liked the language, I thought it was really cool. The only thing that I didn't like is the fact that it was very confusing to create a simple hello world program. But people were breaking things down, and, you know, I guess I kind of got the gist of the language after reading everyone's comments. So thank you to everyone. Maybe I'll play around with Ziglins in the future. Who knows? I will come back to Zig at some point, I'm sure, because from what I've seen, somebody left a very, very long comment. A few people did, breaking down the Hello World program. So, you know, that was fantastic. And effectively, I have read them, by the way, I haven't replied to all your comments, so I promise I will in due time. But we'll have a little look at that in the future. But nonetheless, somebody made a great video here breaking down effectively the Hello World program. They kind of, by the way, I really appreciate this. So if I ever cover a topic and you're not confused, and you can see that I'm a bit confused on it, other beginners are confused on it too, by the way. So if you can break it down in the comments, like a lot of people did, so thank you for that. Or even do something like this, like making a video and kind of, you know, they saw it as an opportunity to kind of talk about the things I was confused about, coming from a C programming background. So thank you to this guy, very much appreciate it. And let's get on to the video. So we're going to look at raylib today. I almost said Zig there. We're going to look at raylib today. We're back to C. So we're going to talk a little bit about that then. What is raylib? It's effectively like a lightweight library, C library for making games. So you can use it with C++. You can use it for C, and people create really cool things with it, and I think there's a video here showing that. So people are creating projects, so Betacraft here, this is really cool, and this is something that actually inspired me to look at raylib, and I don't know if this is just done with raylib entirely, or if it was something that was, you know, I don't know if they used OpenGL for this as well. I can see got like a Minesweeper game here, which is quite cool. But somebody made a video on YouTube where they made like a Minecraft clone with C++. I don't know if you could do it in C, obviously, but I don't know how that would work in C. But it's something we could look at. I would love to play around with something like that. It just seems like such a fun project, but it does seem like it requires a lot of work as well. So I'm not naive in thinking that I can just whip up a Minecraft in an hour. I know that's not the case. It'd have to be a very, very long project. Nonetheless, moving on. What we're going to look at is effectively creating a very, very simple raylib program today. Whilst I'm doing that, effectively, I'm going to show you really quickly how to create the alias that I've created. So if I go into here, you can see that this is effectively my run commands in my shell. Here you need to tell macOS where Homebrew and raylib are installed. So I've done that, and also this is the alias I've created. So whenever I call build-raylib, it will effectively run this command. So it's going to output a file called game, and it's just got all of the dependencies and so on and so forth. Okay, now there may have been a better way to do this. This is the way that I found, and it kind of worked well for me in just creating a simple raylib file in preparation for this video. Now, what we're going to do then, I'm just getting distracted with the games that are on the screen now. What we're going to do is, I think there's a cheat sheet here which has got a bunch of different functions in there. It seems a bit, you know, again, it's not ideal really, but it's got enough in there that we can look at things. So I think what a good starting point for this video would be, again, this is hopefully going to be, you know, I'm going to probably create loads and loads and loads of videos on raylib. I'm sure I will. But yeah, pretty much this is what we're going to do in this video. We're going to create a simple program. Maybe I'll add more to it before I upload this video. I don't know yet, I haven't decided. But for now, let's just get a window open, a thing on a screen, and get something moving around. And hopefully that is good enough for today to keep you guys satisfied. I don't know if, again, you guys might have built incredible things with raylib. But if you're interested in kind of following along with this kind of learning journey, then stick around, subscribe, like. It means a lot to me, and I'm very thankful. So, yeah. So back to this then. If you want to kind of copy what I'm doing, then you can copy these lines of code there, and that should be that. So if I quit that now, what we can do is create a main.c file, which I don't have at the moment, thankfully, and we need to get started. So first thing we're going to want to do then is include a few libraries, and there's not going to be many that we're going to include. I'm just going to include a simple standard input output for now, and also I'm going to include raylib as well. So hopefully raylib will be recognized, and it is fantastic. And we're going to create our main function, and just because I've been doing things this way, this way recently, we're going to keep it that way. Right, okay. So first thing we're going to want to do then is, if we go to the very, very top, I believe I've seen it when I was talking about it. So we want to initialize a window, okay? So effectively we want to get a window up and running. Few things we're going to need for that then, okay? So obviously we're going to need to call the init window function, and we're also going to want to pass through a width, which I'm going to create a predefined variable for this. So we're going to do width, height, and we're also going to give it a name, which we're going to call, for now, circle. Just something really simple. I think we're just going to draw a circle on the screen for now. That might be the best way to do it. So if we go define, and we'll have width, and we're just going to do it by, it don't really matter, 800 by 800 will do for now. Height. Oops. Also as well, I do appreciate people giving, effectively explaining the different commands for NeoVim, because something I realized I could have literally just simply done this the other day. Oops. If I just escape, I could have done that. It takes me right to the end of the line. So that's great. I just realized I didn't include this in here. So that's that. But yeah, so if you've got any NeoVim tricks, then let me know. I'm not a pro. So yeah, hopefully we can get that going. Right, so that's it. That's effectively the window created. Now, if I was to run this, I believe I'm just going to get an error. So if we do build raylib, I think that was the name of the alias I created, and I do game. Yeah, so what happened there is it did work, but it didn't show it for long enough to effectively see it, because all we've done effectively is initialize the window. Actually, no, I don't think we did do that. Hang on. Initialize window. Did I do, is there a show window or open window? It's got to be here somewhere, surely. Right, so I think what I've got to get in here then is, right, I know I have to do a while loop, because that's obviously going to effectively, right, well, I think it's while window should close, and that should give us our loop then, so that the window stays on the screen for, well, until, of course, we say otherwise. So if I just do this, I'm curious if that will, so if I do build raylib, I do game, right, so it's worked, but I don't see any window on my screen, and I've got two screens and I can't see the window anywhere, and I don't know if that's working. So right, I'm going to shut all my windows down a second and see if that is working. Right, that doesn't seem to be working for whatever reason, so I think the next thing I've got to add in is begin drawing. So if I do begin drawing and I do end drawing, let's just see if that will work now. Okay, that's also not working. So, right, okay, we're gonna have to have a little play around with this. So, what could it be? So we've initialized the window, which is the correct first step. Begin drawing, end drawing. Right, so I think I figured out what it was, and of course I missed out a simple exclamation mark, because obviously when the window's not closed, that's when we want to, well, we just want it to effectively show the window. So if I do this, raylib, not that, raylib, and if I do game, finally, okay, so we've got an 800 by 800 window open. That took too long for the first step. And I thought I could create a Minecraft clone, but who knows. Right, so if we scroll down then, so quite literally then, it's going to loop through everything by here. We're going to begin drawing, and we want to draw something, and then we can have changes happening. We can end the drawing, and then it can loop through that all the time. So if we want something to move around the screen, it will take place effectively in that while loop. So a few important things I should actually probably talk about, because I think probably not a lot of people would know this. When we're dealing with coordinates in graphics, we start from the top left. So for example, top left, if I was to do x plus 40, then we might move up to here. And if I was to do y plus 10, then we might move up here, and so on, okay? Because in traditional coordinates or something you would have done in high school, what you would see is we normally start from up here, or you've probably even done some coordinate work in high school where you start in the middle, and so on. Okay, so we're starting from top left, and we move across and down from there. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to effectively, oops, we don't want to quit. We want to draw a simple shape, and once we do that, we can then begin to move that shape around. So first thing I'm going to do is scroll all the way down here, to shapes. So a lot of options here. You can even do textures, which is pretty cool. But we want to draw a simple circle for now, whereby is it draw circle. So what we need to pass through is an integer, which is going to be the where the center of the circle will sit. And we also want to pass a y then, where of course the center of the circle is also going to sit, but across the x coordinate and across the y coordinate. So what I'm going to do is maybe I could create two more variables. That might be a good thing to do. So we'll call it int, and we'll call it circ y or circ x, and we'll create another one called int. Oh, well, we could have just done that in the same. In fact, may as well just give it to it by here. So we'll say that'll be 400. And we'll also pass through then int circ y, which is also going to be 400. So what this should allow us to do, given the fact that our screen size is 800 by 800, is it should allow us to effectively have the circle in the middle then. So if I do draw circle, we go down here, we'll pass through circ x, and we'll also pass through circ y. And we also want to pass through then, if I can see it, on the left hand side. Sorry for those of you who think that writing is way too small. It's very small for me as well. We need to pass through the radius. So the radius is going to be, let's just give it 30 for now. And then we also want to pass through a color, which I believe we have to put in quotation marks. No, we don't. Is it just like that? That's correct. Awesome. So we're going to make the circle red for now. And let's see if this works. So if all goes to plan, what's going to happen is the program is going to initialize the window. We've of course given the different variables there, which is storing the coordinates of the circle, and it's going to loop and keep on drawing the circle on the screen. The circle should sit 400 and 400. It should be size 30 in radius, and it should be the color red. So let's give that a little go now. If I just, build raylib, and then we run game. Awesome. So that was pretty straightforward. So we have a circle on the screen, and it is currently staying still and is doing nothing exciting. So let's actually get that circle moving around now, which It's going to be a bit tricky because this is about as far as I've ever gone with raylib. So what I'm going to do is effectively have a little look around the functions and have a little figure out as to what it is we're going to need to do. I think we are going to have to create, because right, what we can do to play around with it at first, well, in fact, we could probably do this right now. So if I did something like this, which would be circ x plus equals 3, what we should see is the circle move across the screen, because we're adding 3 to it. It should move to the right, which for you guys might be like that. I don't know how the video plays that along. My right. So what we're going to do is clear this. We're going to build this, and if I run this, okay, didn't plan for that to happen. Don't know why it's doing that. That was very strange. Why is it doing that? So, is it because... Ah, right. Might be because it needs to be before this. So circ x, should just copy that code, plus equals 3. So if I do this, oh, no, it's doing the same thing. Okay, surely that's not, did I save it? So why is it doing that? So it's beginning drawing, or do I have to put it after end drawing? Maybe that's why. Delete. Okay, we're just playing around with this now. I should really just think it through, but clearly I'm being lazy. Okay, same thing. Okay, what should we do? If I delete that, delete. It's just going to do the same, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. Now, I know what I have seen people do is set the frames per second, which I think I've seen at the very top. I did see it somewhere. Right, if I do this, and I do FPS, set target frames per second. Let's try that, because I know that impacts things. Somebody's probably screaming at the screen right now, just they know straight away what I've done wrong. If we just put this at 50 and oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, right. So that's why it was going very fast. So we just got to figure out now why it is that. So effectively, right, let's think this through. So we have a while loop. While it should close, we begin the drawing. We draw the circle at a particular coordinate. Oh, we need a clear. We need a clear background or something, is it? Right, let's try this. Black. And then we add... so then if I do circ x, oops, plus equals, what am I doing? 3. There we are. Right. Finally. So, so again, I think a lot of the challenges with this, I don't know why I got too excited for that. A lot of the challenges with using raylib are just going to be remembering the functions to use. So I was a bit of an idiot there. I was probably a bit impatient as well. So yeah, ignore me for a second. But you can kind of see though where, like, you know, right, first of all, I just assumed the state of the screen got refreshed. Clearly that wasn't the case. Now that I know that, that helps massively. So at the moment, you can see that what we've done is we've created the window. We have set a few variables that effectively track the X and Y coordinates. And we've also set the frame per second, which I knew we had to do from people who I've seen use raylib online, which is effectively ensuring the things are performing at a certain rate, because obviously, like you've seen, if I didn't set that, I was going very fast. So that's pretty cool. This then is our infinite loop while the window's effectively running. We begin the drawing, we're drawing the circle, we're clearing the background after we've drawn the circle, and then we are adding 3 to the X coordinates, so that's allowing it to move to the right by 3, and then we are ending the drawing, and then it's repeating then. Okay, so that's it for that. The next thing we want to do, which is probably the next step, is I think probably just introducing key presses. So I think, if I am correct, that there is a function, key pressed or key down. It's one or the other. So what we can do is use that to try and check if a key has been pressed once, check if a key has been pressed again. So I think we're going to use is key press. So we need to get an if statement in here somewhere. So if I do, it's probably going to sit somewhere by here, I imagine. So let's have it. I think it doesn't really matter where it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it by here. But if that changes, then we can edit that after. That's fine. So is key pressed, and then we need to have a key pass through. So we'll say up. Can we say up, or key underscore up? There we go. And if that is the case, then what we want to do is circ y. We're going to change circ y. We're going to change that by 3, and it's just going to be a lot of repeats here then. So if we do else if key is key pressed, and then we'll have key down. Oops, down, and then this is going to be circ y minus equals 3, because again we're taking away from that coordinate. So next one then is just dealing with the X coordinate, which should be pretty straightforward. Key right, let's do, and we'll do circ X plus equals 3, and then finally else if is key pressed, key left, and then we'll do circ X, circ X minus equals 3. Right, so that should work in theory. Will it work? We'll find out. So if we do build raylib, okay, it's going very slow. Why is it going so slow? Yeah, it's good. It's working though. Okay, maybe we just need to. That's going way too slow. Okay, let's try and remember what you lot have been talking to me about past. So if I just do that, 30. There's got to be a near-vim command where you can edit all of those 3s into 30s, I'm sure. If I do that, and then we'll go build, and then we'll run. Okay, that's a bit rickety. I don't know if I like that. Maybe, and I'm thinking now, I've used the wrong. Is it down? So let's just. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So, yeah, sorry. Okay, so this is, right. Okay, so the difference is if you press down, it's going to be effectively just move you the 3 or 30 at once. But we don't want that. We want... Oh, no, so if it's pressed, it will move it 3 when you've just pressed it. But if you hold it down, which is what we want. So let's do that. Down. Let's do the same here. Oops. Down. And same here. Down. And then if we change out to 3, that should be fine. Right. That was actually fairly, to be fair, it was easier than I thought it would have been. But still quite difficult though. Again, yeah, there we are. So that's very smooth. So you can see it's just moving nice and smoothly. That's pretty cool actually. The fact that you can do that and see with the use of this library. I think the thing that makes, like, again, I think I've quoted the Lex Friedman podcast about, well, this could be my second time. There's a computer scientist who lectures somewhere in America. I don't really know the guy myself very well, other than he kind of said something quite interesting, which was he created a Pac-Man game in Pascal, and something that somebody in work had spoken to me about fairly recently, which I found quite interesting, is what makes Pac-Man, as in the game Pac-Man, of course, very interesting and quite cool actually, is the fact that they were limited back then as to what they could use. So for example, I could probably create Pac-Man on this if you give me probably a week to just figure out how raylib works and the different functions and such like that. It probably wouldn't take me a week, I don't know. But the fact that people back then were creating Pac-Man with what they had at their disposal is what really makes that such an engineering feat. So something that interests me about even something as simple as Pokemon as well. So, you know, Pokemon was written in assembly, I believe, for the Game Boy initially. So think about that, you know, that game, how it's not awfully complex, I suppose, because I'm sure loads of people have recreated it in C++. In fact, I've seen videos of that, which is really cool. But it's much more impressive back then, considering how, you know, the way in which they were stuck with those sorts of languages. You know, they don't have these libraries that we have access to today. So that's really cool. And I could see how this could be quite addicting, because you can create whatever you want in C, which is quite nice. I don't know what to do next. I really don't know what to do next. Right, so I think that's probably a good place to leave it just for this episode, because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and I'll probably just end up digging myself down a rabbit hole. It's quite late, so I'm going to leave it at that. What I find quite interesting about this is the fact that, you know, in C you can create some graphics, and that seems quite fun and something that I'd personally be interested in. Never created a game before, so that seems like a fun project for me, especially in C. So if you want to watch me, stay tuned and kind of, well, hopefully create a game in C, then stay tuned, because I think what the plan is with this, I think just getting this simple you know, program up and running, I think what would be quite cool is actually to create like a snake game, because you can see we've almost kind of got it working here. You just have to, you know, add random bits across the screen and grow the tail and so on. But I'm sure we could actually get that working. So hopefully we can do something quite cool with it. You'll have to stay tuned and see what we do. I mean, I know it was a short video, so sorry if you guys were expecting more from this, but I just think from a short video, we've got something up and running. And it's, you know, again, it shows what we're capable of. We know we can draw shapes. I'm sure we can add in our own images of little figures if we want to do some pixel art and add that in. But let me know what you guys think. What should we create? What game should we create? You guys should give your input as well as feedback on this. And if I've done anything stupid in this video, again, as always, feel free to correct me. I do appreciate it. Again, we're growing the community. Thank you all very much for your support, and I look forward already to seeing you in the next video, and I'll have to get practicing on my raylib skills now. So thank you everyone, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye.